So today I am going to tell you the story about how we planned and built our little house that is located in a very unique place. And the agenda of the day will be first part will be about planning, and then building, interior, and fourth part, if we manage in time, I will tell you about the lifestyle that has came with all of this. But yeah, before the planning part, I'm quickly going to tell you about Pape because it truly is a unique place. So it's kind of far from our capital, Riga, and we are not afraid of that because the place is as unique as it is. All the good things have some uh, shadier sides. So yes, I want to tell you about Pape in two ways, like the nature park Pape and then the Pape Stjoņciems, which is a little bit different story. So we are located in nature park Pape, which is a nature park where there are some wild animal territories. We have wild horses, bisons, and the third word I am afraid to pronounce, but we call them tauruses, tauri in Latvian, and it has a plenty of unique, diverse ecosystems like dunes, sea, bog, swamp, lake. We have everything. So it is a unique place for wildlife. We have ornithology center here where they research bats and birds and I think some insects too. And the place itself is critical for bird migrating. So yeah, here are some pictures with the beautiful views. But as an animal lover, for me, the thing about Pape's Nature Park is the animals, and they are near us. They are next to us all the time. So here you can see our house has been blessed with wild horses since like the start of it. You can still see that there are some wood attached to the wall, and they have been blessing us till this day. The third picture is taken like a week ago. So also other animals are visiting us all the time. The Taurus one was the first time for us, and it was kind a little bit scary at first, but they are like these majestic big cows, and yeah, it's crazy, but I love it. And but of course they are like the leaders of the place. Some people don't like it because the wild cows ruin their gardens in springs, and horses eat little trees. So yeah. And the Pape Stjoņciems, which is the second part, is an architectural monument of national importance. It has 11 homesteads which have this amazing authentic architecture of fishermen villages, and there are only one or two places in Latvia where you can actually see the architecture, and it still goes in ongoing reconstruction of the historical elements. In fact, our family is involved in this fund where we, together with the money from culture capital funds from government, together with the homeowners, we renovate their reed roofs and other architectural elements. So here you can see some of the houses, and they are quite interesting in their like roofs. If you can see in they do not have this two-part roofs, but they have 4 parts, which are unique to the place, and a majority of them are not seen today, because in the 50s, when they renovated the roofs, they totally got rid of them. And you can also see the wind planks on the sides of the roofs, and those little arrows on the roofs are called decorative roosters, which are, in my opinion, super designy element. And I have it. We have it on our house too. You will see it in a moment. So now I am going to tell you about how we got to the point where we started building something. So the planning started with a simple idea that we are building a house. And before we even started drawing anything or thinking about anything, we had this like super big vision of what we want to see. We knew that we will have reed roof, we will have some we will have piles under the house, and that we will have a lot of little windows, but we didn't had any like a normal idea. But this was the first mood board that I took out of our first emails where we where all teams started talking about the house. After we understood that we are really building something, we got back to the videos that inspired us in the first place. Before we even knew that we will be building anything, we checked out this channel, Living Big in Tiny Home, in YouTube at evenings, and just dreamt about how we will have something like that in further future. And as a tip from me, if you watch some videos with design or architectural interesting elements, make a playlist, because our house was heavily influenced by some of the design choices that I saw in those videos. For example, the third video has an amazing example of a totally hidden kitchen, which in some part I took in our house too. And then we realized what we had. We had reeds, we had doors, windows, some bricks, and a little bit of wood. And at that point, we just did the calculations from our sketches, how much wood we need for the whole construction, for whole walls. And by some miracle, we didn't run out of it. Like till the last day, everything was all the material was there, even though we really ordered the wood not knowing anything what's going to happen, and there was some left too. So the architecture was built in some kind of way of the fact that we only have 10 pairs of windows and only one set of doors that would suit the house. And that was the main driver of the architectural structure. And of course, knowing that the reed roof will be in fact on the house too, because Martin's father does this project, this fund of renovating the roofs, and then he offered us to give the roof to us as a gift. And in the beginning, we thought, that we have a lot of old tires that we would love to use in any kind of way. And this was the initial idea, that we could make the basis of the house with tires. But then we understood that we live on a bog, and it's impossible. So they took off the upper layer of ground 30 centimeters. And under that, all they found was peat from the bog and water. And we understood that if we will build a house on tires, we will be under the bog in the meantime. So we understood that the only option is screw piles, which is like these metal piles that can go as deep as you need, especially on these like swampy places. And we understood that to reach the solid ground, it's going to be as the same height as our house, if we put it in the perspective. And we understood also that wooden piles would not work because it's very moist, and they would decompose in meantime. So while we were planning our home, the most important thing that was in our minds was what is the minimal stuff that you can live with comfortably, and what is the minimum of gadgets or your lifestyle things that you can live without. So for us, we understood that in our in the the size of our home, we will not have washing machine or dishwasher or any big electronics, or the only big electronic will be the fridge. And we understood that we have a bed already, but we will need to make a dining table or something like that. So that was very nice to put it on the paper. And I want to point out the comfortably, because we could live with the minimum of things that we can imagine, but it's not sustainable. In one moment, you are going to crack and go back to your old ways of living. So planning out, I understood that I need space, and I left that picture. It's not a great picture, but I left it in because it's an example of how I work. I draw something and I want to make it now or tomorrow, but not after month or week or when I get to studio. I need space to make the thing that I have in my mind. So I knew that in my house, as little as it is, I need free space, free ground where I can either make furniture or sew or dance, anything, but I need space. So that was one of the main ways how I thought about the space that it was. No clutter, no anything. So we knew that we had bed, but we knew that we will have fridge, couch, table, closet, and a fire space as the biggest things. So we planned everything around that. The only measure that we knew was our, the only dimensions we knew was our bed, because like I made it before, and as a pro tip from me, as it may sound counterintuitive, but this is very important if you are planning for tiny homes. Measure everything and immediately plan the layout according to the dimensions in Illustrator or any visual software that you use. And I am telling you this because when you're planning for tiny house or anything in smaller scale, there is no place for approximate dimensions. You need to be super exact, because everything is so small, you can't really just look at the couch and say, oh, that will fit. So for us, the sketch looked like this. That was the first sketch that I sent to our team. And the main person that I needed to show this to get some accept was the designer of the wooden frame structure that helped us with to make the plans for the wooden details, because he was the one that was going to tell us if this will work or not. So yeah, this was the sketch that I sent, and sorry for the text being in Latvian, but those little texts just describe what are the elements, the little boxes. So bed, couch, table, toilet, anything. But like everything, all the blocks are in the real sizes. So it was very easy for all of us to play like rearranging stuff, as in like dollhouse, and everything was very understandable. But in the beginning, the roof looked like this. But when the designer of the wooden frame structure got into our team, he was like, I am joining this team if we are making this roof. And as people who like interesting stuff, we agreed. And he was very happy. And this was his like the official initial sketch of the details and how the windows will look. So this was the first moment where I understood that, okay, this is legit, this is like good, this will happen, like this looks like something serious is going to happen. And this was a very nice start for us to understand how what the proportion will be of the place. And then the last thing of planning was the communications. We understood that the closest electricity port is 250 meters from the place that we are planning to build, and it's single phase, meaning that if we are connecting to the grid, we need to upgrade to 3 phases. With water, same, 200 meters from house. And internet, we both work from home, and internet is crucial part of our lives. And knowing what materials we are going to use, how massive it's going to be, and how the reed roof can like literally make a shield, we didn't know what is going to be the situation with internet, and we could only pray that it will be good and that we could work from home. But yeah, in the beginning, as a side note, it was bad because we took another operator, and I was freaking out that I am not going to be able to work at my home, but everything was fine at the end. So yeah, we chose to dig a cable because in the beginning, of course, we were thinking about going the alternative route and go off grid, but at the moment it was too expensive, and we wanted to explore some wind opportunities. But in nature parks, there is like this rule that you cannot do anything with wind stuff, so that was out of the question. So we just chose to dig the cable, and it was just boring stuff, I guess. So on to the building. This was the part where my dear husband Martins poured his whole soul, time, and power, because he left his job. He only worked freelance, and he went and woke up, and every day from 8 to 6 he built the house every day, also in weekends, and that was his job for the summer. So he knows this by heart and by soul and by everything. But I am going to tell you in my sense how I saw it from the side. This is like the general timeline of how it all went. I am not going to read all of them at the moment, but we will go briefly through them in the next slides. But yes, everything was in kind of way very chronological. Not a lot of things went on the same time because the team was as big as it was. I think the team was like five or four persons at a time, plus minus. It varied. At one point, we had a guy that was in apprenticeship on making reed roofs, so he helped in the beginning, but I will tell you where he went afterwards because he disappeared at one moment. But yeah, and big X in insulating the whole house, because that was, I will tell you later, but that was a thing that nobody was prepared for. This was the place before everything. And excuse the big fingers on the film photography. It is what it is. And yeah, and at this point we were still thinking that we were going to do the tire base route, but none of that was in the end done. So the first step logically would be the screw piles, but those who do that were like just like canceling the appointment on and on and on. And then the designer of the wooden structure made the plan and sketch of all details for the house, and then I'm going to say we because it's easier. And then we started to prepare the wooden details. Here, for example, you can see tie beams and beams and rafters. The things that you can see here, the things that hold the whole roof and ceiling. And for example, yeah, they made these details as much as they could, and it made the process afterwards super fast because it was like a Lego, like a constructor, just like putting everything together. And here you can see a little snippet of how they did the screw piles, like super simple technology. They just adjust the height to the solid ground they can feel. And in our example, they thought that it's going to be 3 meters, but then in the end, they needed to elongate them. So, but it was a very relatively cheap and fast process. And it was the only thing really that we could choose if we didn't want it to drown. And yeah, here you can see the after the piles we just did this like super simple this super simple this frame, frame, which later you will see we filled with the insulation. But yeah, here you could see some pictures from the making of the wooden construction. This was I think late April, and it was very nice weather. Like, we were blessed with nice weather while building this house, because majority of time it was very warm and dry, so everything went seamless. And yeah, you can see the guy in the red costume is our is the one who designed the structure and who helped us with all the wooden things and ideas. Majority of details were pretty primitive, just just cut to the size, and some cuts inside. And yeah, here you can see how they connected together. And in the structure, you can see there is this like 20 centimeter gap from the outside and inside, and that is left for the insulating material that you are going to see in the next slides. Yeah, before this. Sorry. Yes, this was the complete wooden structure. Yes, this is the last photo. You can see those little planks. They are all made for the roof. And here you can see this picture where there is this big beam in the middle, and while we were making the outer structure, we were at the same time making the loft where I am now sitting, because our house has this loft where we sleep and where we have closet, and the main beams were put inside at that moment. So they are very secure. At the beginning, as I don't understand how home building structures and everything, I was thinking that the loft would be not not secure, but like maybe not the most secure thing on the planet. But our master told us that we could put a piano on the second floor and nothing would happen. And this is an important part, because this was one of the main reasons why the insulation got so hard. So here you can see there are those planks which make the ceiling that is now over my head. We made a decision to put the ceiling first, so when we insulate the parts under, the lime would not melt from the humidity. That was the main idea, that we need the roof and then we can insulate. But further down the line, we understood that was kind of a silly idea, because the lime wouldn't melt, everything would be fine, and we wouldn't have so many problems with insulating places that are near the ceiling. So that was kind of a big problem, because those little places took the most time in installation. Yes, and in this photo you can see the insulation was just mixed in this cement mixer, and just filled inside the roof. The roof and the floor was relatively simple, because you needed to push the insulation downwards without anything over it. Yes, here you can see after insulation, they put on the reed roof, which, yeah, in our opinion, was a mistake now that we are looking back to it. But the interesting thing about the roof was the roof was made, of course, by professionals, but it was the first time for them when they had this like curve to roof. Before, they only did this like gravel roof, which means that there are like two sections on the roof, and there are no like any longer parts or curved parts. So this was an interesting experiment for them. And they sorry, something with the presentation. Yes, and they made it quite fast. I think it was a week or less than a week. And when the roof was I love this picture. It looks like Mohawk, but the roof was a relatively simple part of the house, even though it might look as one of the more difficult. And yeah, here you can see the finished roof. In the beginning, reed roofs are really light yellow color, and the color is very juicy and nice. But over the years, uh, reed roofs tend to change color, but quite slowly. And you can see there in the further corner, there is one old reed roof, which is like this dark gray color, and I can't wait for ours to get the same color, because I love that gray is like really nice. I love it. But yeah, so the pluses about reed roofs: it's super soundproof. I don't know that it is raining outside if I don't see it. Also, it's a very great insulator as it is. But it needs repairs, and if there is nobody who can help you near you, then it could potentially be a problem in the future. And the lifespan varies incredibly, taking in fact the quality of the reeds and the craftsman who made the roof, and they are expensive. In the beginning, in these fishermen villages, reed roofs were the main building material, because we have the Papa Lake, and people just took the reeds from there and put them directly on their roofs. But now the things don't work like that, and also the quality of the reeds in the past years have not been the greatest. For example, we made a shed, and we don't have reed roof because the reeds are just not good this year. And in this year, we re-insulated our we re-insulated the upper part of our roof, because you can see the picture, this yellow part. There was a part of reeds that came out of the roof, and while we were repairing it, we thought might as well re-insulate the part, and that was the decision was made mainly because this part was gave out a lot of heat. So we just put some material there. That's clay. That's 3 parts reed, 1 part clay, and 2 parts water. So again, some self-made material, but it works really well. Now when the snow is on the roof, you can see that it's no longer giving away the heat. It's not melted at that place. So yeah, the insulation, here you can see how it went on. So the idea is you have these two planes of material, and you just put them like a cast from one side to other and put the filling inside. And then after 3 days, you take them down. Like there are no these like OSB plates. Here you can see the material. Looks very interesting. In the beginning, not gonna lie, I was thinking of maybe leaving some wall with it, but at the end, I was not loving the material after all those weeks. But yeah, the recipe is like 4 parts reed, 1 part slime, and 2 parts water. And this material the idea came from this hempcrete, a very popular building material that is now very popular, where with the same ingredients, you do the same, but with hemp. So we did the same, only with reeds, because reeds are the thing that we have laying around. And yeah, we think that it performed the same, but only time will tell, because I think that it is still drying under the walls, because it's the lime is not very fast drying. And here you can see how it looks when the cast is off. And here I was trying to do some primitive diagram of how the thing works. So when the cast is on, you have some free space, and you take the mixed material. And here in the side, you can see the tools, self-made tools, which is like 1 plank and 1 plank on, and you just do pushing motion down. And that was like all they did for weeks, because it took so many hours and so much materials that it just got very, very difficult, very, very fast. Also, lime causes burns when it interacts with water and sun. So all of the guys had really serious burns on their hands. Plus, one of the guys, the one who was in apprentice, he did that for a few hours, and then he said that he will never do it again, and he stopped with the project. So here you can see the different colors. That's just the different mixes. Every time it was different, and also the drying time therefore varied greatly. And yeah, some pictures with the floor part with insulation. Yeah, and then my favorite thing about our interior, the windows. There was this kind man that just gave us these windows, but as you can see, they are single windows without the frame. And we understood that, of course, we are taking them, they are beautiful, everything is amazing, but we knew that we have some heavy stuff to do. So we took off old paint, we reinforced the filling between the wood and the glass, we changed the bad glass planes, created frames, which, by the way, super difficult if every window is different, the size a little bit. And we redid the varnish with the linseed oil. We didn't make the frames ourselves. Our dear friend Gatis, who helped with all the wooden frame for the building, helped us with that. And in the end, as you can see, they are rough in some places, because when we took out the metal details, some of them were very damaged, but we made the frames, and now the windows are I wouldn't say that they don't stop the wind. We can feel the wind inside if there's a storm outside, but they are super beautiful and they do their job, and we have 10 of them. So I am very happy that we had the 10 frames with the similar windows, and that we had the patience to renovate them, because it was very tedious and slow process. Also the same with the doors. We had one pair of doors that we could use, and we I'm sorry. Yeah. About the outside exterior. So here you can see my most favorite detail about our house. Those two black lines were totally not planned. It was just a happy accident, because one of the helpers just made another line, and we just went with it, but it looks amazing. These lines theoretically are being put in the houses because they framed the house, and they changed the proportion of the houses. So by the idea, they needed to be there, but not two, but they look very, very nice. And the idea behind the wood rhythm is traditionally you need to put two bigger planks under and one narrower plank on. So, and that's the traditional way of making this exterior wood plank rhythm. So we followed that too. And yeah, the fireplace was not the most loved decision of the house, but there was no really other alternative, because we are on the swamp. If we wanted to make a chimney from bricks, then we would need to reinforce the base in some kind of way with the cement or some other screw piles. But we understood that it will be very heavy, and we have as much place as we have, and this was like the decision that we made with the chimney. They just came, did everything in a few hours, and we had it installed. That was not a thing that we did. But this, the wall behind me, this is amazing stuff. So these bricks are unfired bricks that Martin's dad found in an old building nearby, and they are like, because they are not fired, they have a completely different look, and they are very fragile, but I don't know, how could I describe? We just needed to make a wall that can have the chimney inside. So no, there was no option of making the reed concrete, and we just went with this. And now it's one of my favorite interior pieces of the house. Yes, we built a little bit more. We made shed, and I am showing you this because it is made practically from trash. So the base are all tires, and the frame is made from planks that our friend, our neighbor, gave us. And the walls are made from wood pallets. So it is really made from just things laying around. But we understood that we need some kind of shed, so we just threw this together with the help of our friends. So that's that. And from the remaining planks, we made a terrace. And the terrace story is crazy because those two lighter parts of terrace were washed out from the sea, and we just took them home and connected them with the new planks. So the sea just gave it to us as a gift. Because we were just standing outside and thinking, oh, the house looks a little bit plank, we need a terrace. And after a few weeks, the terrace just arrived. Like, we ordered it on Amazon. And yes, and the outside table and those stools also from the same wood. I see that I have already talked for 45 minutes, so I will continue with the interior and the lifestyle part. Maybe if we have time, I can tell, but I will stop before that. So the interior, if we are talking about interior, the key things were making this place livable. Because before, when you came inside, the feeling was very construction site, something's off, we need to bring some life into this space. And that was the part where I truly came in the project. So the floors are one of the things that I would do differently. A linseed oil varnish on floors, not the best choice. Don't recommend. It's not good for high traffic areas. So this is the only picture with beautiful floor at the moment. It's not the best look. So in the first floor, we made a decision to do clay walls. And clay, love the material, but it's something. It has its own character. So because we had these wooden parts and these insulated parts, the wooden parts needed to be upgraded with this jute mesh. So the clay sticks sticks to it. And the main problem was that in the places where the clay was on the insulation, it was drying completely normally because the insulation was still a little bit moist and everything. But when it was under when there was under wood, it would make these big cracks, and it was not a great look. I will show the pictures for you in a moment. But clay as a material is great insulator, cheap, very durable, regulates indoor climate as nothing else can. The air in this house is amazing, and it's high. It has high thermomass, so it also gives away or takes heat. But it cracks, and the cracks are very visible. It's hard to get an even tone, and it's very slow drying, and it's fragile at the beginning. I am showing you now the mystery of our years. So these are parts in our walls that for some reason have not dried in the same color as any else, and we don't know why, because we looked at the pictures previously before we put the clay on, and everything was normal. So this is a thing that you need to keep in mind. If you want completely perfect color, you need to put something on additionally. If it could be lime, it could be another layer of clay, but you need to think about that. And also, these are the cracks. The cracks mainly are in the places where there is wood underneath. So you need to take in mind that maybe if it is possible to cover the wooden parts in some kind of way with more insulation or anything, but you need to think about that. So yeah, the mixture was clay, water, binder, fiber, and a little bit of reeds, a little tiny bit of reeds, just to give it a character. Yes, and then I of course painted all the wooden parts with the linseed oil color. I don't like the yellow color of wood, so that was a design choice. But for the big beams, for example, like in the third picture, I just went over with the clear, transparent linseed varnish because I knew that I want some contrast in everything. Linseed colors, from my point of view, beautiful and amazing and smells nice and gives the best finishes, but it will get sticky if you forget about it, and it's completely serious. When you use the color, you need to wipe it after 2 hours, and if you forget, it's done. You will have sticky windows or walls or anything, and you will not get the stick off. And you need really a lot of it, and it's not opaque. If you want some more coverage, you need to have 4 or 5 layers, and the cost adds up real fast. I did all the ceiling with as little as I could, but it was a lot in any way. Yes, this is the stair system. Quickly going over that, I hid my whole kitchen under the staircase. So that was the main idea. That's why I talked about the fridge and the weird sizes, because in the under the 4th step, I have fridge, and under the 5th step, I have a sink. So I needed to plan everything centimeter by centimeter. For example, we have oven and stove and power box and everything under there. Like all the ugly stuff that nobody wants to see is under there, but everything needed to fit. Also all the plates and mugs and everything. So that was kind of important thing of the whole house, because I didn't want it to have kitchen all the time. I don't like that about studio living spaces. So I came up with this system where behind it there is a stairs up to our loft, but under there we have all our living things, and under that little step, it is our cat apartment. And yeah, I ordered these planks cut by size because I was really afraid that I would do something bad with them, but they are just plywood planks. And the plywood was a design choice because I am a really big lover of Scandinavian design, and Scandinavian furniture and in its fundamentals is quite plywood oriented. Alto, for example, adore his works. And yeah, and this was again a little addition, this little wall that disconnects toilet from the whole other house. And it was also super simple structure, just 2 beams, planks, all done, and it is very stable, and nothing is really and like soundproof, not but it's okay. It's just a wooden wall. About electricity, just a little interesting story. We were thinking about these woven electrical cables because they are very beautiful and vintage looking, but our electrician, who is also my godfather, when he heard the idea, he said, no, I am not doing that. I did it a year ago, and it was a nightmare, and I'm not doing it. And I needed to think of something fast, because I knew that white exterior cables, never in my house. And then I found this linen thread, and I just went and manually wrapped every cable, but in the end it blends with the clay and the wood so perfectly that you don't even see the cables. And if you see it, if you notice it, then it's a very nice little design Easter egg in everything. And the last couple of things, the big closet, also a main piece in our house. I am now sitting in the standing desk area. So this is our closet that holds all our stuff. and it has linen doors because the whole house is already very material heavy with the clay and the wooden parts, that I understood that we need more fabric in the interior, so it is just very stiff linen there. And also the build is very, very simple. It has frame all over the walls, another frame inside the wall, and just like these super simple shelves. And the shelving system is really nice because it really can hold all our stuff, if we take in granted that it's like 3 meters big. So also very, for example, the build is very simple, but it looks nice and it serves the purpose. And in the end, we made 2 more tables, 2 more stools, and 2 more shelves. But that's all it. We have only bought 1 couch, and yeah, that's like the whole furniture. And in the end, just as a little side note, we made this little voliere. I don't know how it is in English. This, let's call it zoo, okay? This little zoo for our cats. As you can see, there are these white little cat doors, and don't worry, they go outside, they get the real thing, but they are really, really active cats. And we understood that if we are not making the house only for ourselves, we have 2 very important persons living with us, and they need their fun too. So we planned the whole from since the beginning, and I just made this little house where they can chill outside, watch the birds, and just breathe fresh air while we are not at home or doing anything else, and not willing to go in and out with them and everything. So this is their little apartment, and they love it there. They love these high beams. They use them every day. It's their main transportation route, and this is my Zoom background always. And yeah, they were really happy to come live here from a little apartment in Riga. So yeah, at this point I have some little slides about the lifestyle change, a little bit, but I can stop here, and we can discuss we can do the Q&A, but yeah, I can continue, but I can stop at this moment because it's already an hour. Yeah,
it's amazing. If you are willing to do so, please continue the story.
okay, then very quickly and briefly about the lifestyle change of coming to countryside, and switching the lifestyle from living in the middle of city, in the middle of society, in all this fast-paced lifestyle. So before I want to just tell you that while we were building the house, we were living in this small travel trailer, which was like 3 or 4 square meters with the 2 cats, and that was like 3 months of living just there. And the second picture is the car with completely all our stuff, including bed and some furniture pieces and everything, with what we brought all the stuff here. So it was also a nice moment to realize that I can put all our living things in one small car. No, not the smallest, but in one car. So changing the lifestyle, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that you will never have free time, and it's not a joke. But with the exception, if you choose to make your life as difficult as we did, and it was a choice, but it was not a choice in the same time. So to give you a perspective how the life is, so our everyday life consists of bringing jugs of water to home because we don't have a well, refilling all the water tanks, changing the composting toilet, heating. Oh, and heating takes so much time, you can't even imagine. Dishwasher and washing machine is 250 meters away from our house, same as shower. Sorting waste is also a big thing, and cleaning, I am broadening out cleaning because like natural materials are like very prone to dust and everything, so it takes a lot of time. And all these things they take a big chunk of our everyday lives, because when you live in a flat, the heating is there always in default. From your tap there comes out normal water and heated water, and the most necessities in your life are sorted out for you anyway. And when we came to live here, we understood that our lives need to be rearranged big time, because there are no other ways of us sustaining this. And what I could a tip that I could give anyone planning to do this is to divide all the home stuff between all the people that lives there, because if when we are alone at house, it's unreal to do everything that the house needs, but when we are together, then everything is kind of seamless, because when you divide the stuff, then you don't feel it as much. My most favorite thing about living here was that we grew like all our food during the summer, and it was a blessing. With we, I don't mean we, Martin's mother did, and I'm very thankful to her about it. But yes, that was a key part of our like sustainability at that time, because we practically didn't go to store to buy like normal stuff. And with all of that water jug thing, and why we don't have a well yet, because we understood that the system that we have created with carrying the water from other houses, I am speaking about drinking water and like water for faucet or toilet or cleaning the house, that our water waste is zero, because we use precisely how much we need. For example, composting toilet is, I would say, one of the best inventions of our modern times, because it takes such a small piece of resources compared to what we use in normal like water closets and everything. But the principle, but the style of the toilet is exactly the same, and everything. And I am very happy about this, because water is one of those things that I am very scarce about. I think that like water is okay. We live next to the sea. We have infinite water, right? But like knowing that you use a lot less than you would not knowingly in the city is a really nice thing to remember. So heating is one of those things that needs planning really long time before. As anyone who lives in the countryside knows, that the heating in houses doesn't appear from thin air. So we half of our firewood came from our friend who owns a woodworking workshop, and we just bought some of his scraps. But half of our wood Martin's prepared. He went to our other land that we own, and he cleaned all the branches and small trees, and did everything himself. And so you could imagine like 2-3 weeks of his free evenings were just spent chopping the wood that he brought from the other land. And another thing that we have magically that has magically appeared in our life is a pottery studio that we opened in Pap several months ago, together with the Kurš Initiative funds. And this takes a big chunk of our life too. And I am bringing this up because, for example, the heating, why it takes so much time, because if any of us goes to the studio, or any of us goes to Riga, or anywhere else, there has to be someone who is heating the house all the time, because we don't have this heat accumulation wall. So like going other places is kind of difficult, and like leaving for a longer time is difficult, and like studio stuff, we switch the places all the time. So yeah, that's also one thing. But also why I have such a sweet spot for the studio, because the clay, we have clay in our walls in the first floor, and clay as it is, it's just a magical and wonderful material. And I am very happy that our design studio is focused around such a sustainable and nice material that you can reuse hundreds of times till you like fire it. So it's an amazing feeling as it is also when making the stuff. And last but not least, I want to remind all of you that you are only as far as you think you are, and that Latvia is very, very small. So we are located 270 kilometers away from a place where my family lives, and both of our offices are, and all our friends live. But we have started this habit of using public transportation and the buses. There is no more sustainable way to go anywhere in this place where we are located than bus. And the bus is amazing chance of working the whole hours and teleporting at the same time. And usually it is, we just hop into the bus, open our laptops, and work till we see the Riga sign outside. So really nothing disconnects you from the society and the city if you are willing to use the system that is provided to you, for example, the buses. And we could buy a car and we could drive with the car, but then it would mean that one of us can't work. So in any way, the bus is an amazing opportunity and we use it every day. And the funniest part, the red dot underneath, which I find quite funny, is that from Pape, the closest international airport is closer than to those who live in Riga suburbs. The Riga airport is. We have Palanga airport somewhere down where the dot is, and we just bought a flight to London from Palanga just for an experience, and it means that we are going to hop into our car from middle of nowhere, drive at 25 kilometers, and just hop into a plane and fly somewhere. So it's just a bizarre feeling, but yeah, interesting. Another interesting transport choice. So this is the end of my presentation, and I am happy that you all are still here, and I hope that I was interesting enough. So thank you